All right, good afternoon, good evening. I'm sorry, it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening here. Ed Raymer with you with the Edwin Lee Raymer Show. My guest, some of you already know, is Mr. Stephen Reynolds. Stephen, hello.
Ed.
Always, as usual, glad
Always
to have
a
you.
pleasure.
Always
Yes.
a pleasure to have you. Thank you for doing this evening.
Absolutely.
We've had somewhat of a wild weekend, both of us have. So I'm going to let Stephen tell you about his. And I'll tell you what, Connor, let's go ahead and kick this off. I want to give Stephen maximum yield of our time. But for right now, my name is Edwin Lee Raymer, and I am still a private investigator. Welcome aboard.
This is the Edwin Lee Raymer Show with your host, Ed Raymer, on your Good Neighbor station, News Radio, WGNS.
And that's a little rock and roll to kick you off this evening. And this is Edwin Lee Raymer Show. I'm your host, Ed Raymer, and the show's produced at studios at WGNS AM and FM, 1450 AM, 100.5, 101.9 FM, right here in the heart of the great volunteer state, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And you can reach us tonight with your comments, questions, ideas, thoughts, whatever. It's 615-893-1450. You can also send a text to us that number, and Connor, who's on the board, he's back from vacation. Be glad to read it over the air. Hand it to me or Stephen. Either one of us will read it for you. Now, how do you see us, watch us, listen? Of course, number one, the old-fashioned way, as I've made somewhat of a joke of lately, kids, that rectangular device that sits in the dash of your car is called a radio. If you'll press on, you can get amazing sounds and things out of it. You can go to AM 1450. You can go to 100.5, 101.9 FM. Hear us there. My wife listens on Alexa. You can watch right now News Radio, WGNS. And we're on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, Stitcher. My friend here probably knows as many ways or more. Stephen,
Ed, I think you got them all, buddy.
A few of them.
You know, I was just thinking, Ed, to everyone born before the year 2000, the term DJ has a totally different meaning.
No, it does.
Right? I mean, now you ask a kid what a DJ is. They're, someone that's at a party,
whatever.
Spins records.
Yeah, I don't know. It's somebody that comes and plays music for you. So that's all. Kids, that's what it was for us. Only it was over live radio,
right,
in the mornings or whatever. And you can download WGNS and take us with you wherever you go. Listen whenever you wish. And listen to a lot of our local broadcast here. Jason Qualls does the Money Matters show. What's his show? What's the name of his show? Financial Coaching Radio. I'm sorry. And, of course, Brian and John do a lot of the prep sports here. And so many other things that we're doing. And listen to all the folks that do a great job. And Mike Sparks is on at 5 in the afternoon. And then a young lady in here by the name of Angela Bingham. And we were just visiting with her. And Stephen, she is something else. She's the real deal.
She's out blessing the community, Ed. She's doing the things she's feeding the homeless folks here in Rutherford County. Murfreesboro does that once a week. And just an amazing lady. She's just a real pleasure to know.
It's a pleasure to be around.
She is.
She relaxes you.
Yeah.
And it's just unbelievable. She's just a wonderful person, and we're so glad to have her here. I'm so glad to have known she walked into my life. She's wonderful. I mean, like I said, she's just blessing. She's a blessing.
Yeah.
Her and the Bingham sisters.
Right.
And they've been singing since they crawled out of the cradle. So, anyway.
Multi-talented.
I'm telling you, and of course, Angela is a teacher as well. Angie Marie, who's on with her, and Taylor does a lot of their social media, who used to be up here. She's back at home now. She does a lot of social media, got some responsibilities there. Those are three fine ladies, and their guests that they have on. They're just doing a great job. And Stephen, you had an event you went to last night. You want to tell us about it?
Ed, I call it the Democrat prom is what I call it, because it's actually the 3-star dinner
Right.
that's held down at the Music City Center. That is the Tennessee Democratic Party, the state party, host a fundraiser every year. And anyway, went last night to the Music City Center. Been a while since I've been a few years. And
Probably may have been the last time me and you were there together, I believe,
probably
when
so.
Amy Klobuchar spoke that
Amy
night.
Klobuchar, she's fantastic. Yeah, I looked up last night, and my brother, who has moved back to Tennessee recently, he was having a conversation with Congressman Steve Cohen
Yep.
from
okay.
Memphis.
Right.
And so saw some other dignitaries around, and Ken Martin from the DNC was there. He gave a great speech. One of the things that really stood out to me was the comment that he made that they were going to take the DNC out of D.C., and the fact that they're planning on getting very local now, and the fact that the DNC is going to be donating $1 million a month to every state party across the union. And that is significant. They're getting serious on the local level rather than just the folks up in D.C.
Now, this is not just a $1 million one time. It's going to be $1 million a month.
That's what he said last night,
Right.
and that's to every state party across the union. And so
that's the first time I've heard of anything like that.
well,
being
it
done.
is, and
Yeah.
to hear a guy say he's going to take the DNC out of D.C. is quite remarkable.
I am all for that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, Ed, the Republicans know this well, that you start at the local level, you build it up, so they've executed a very winning model recently.
They have.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the things that the Democrats are going to try to go back, and the other thing is that the rural South. Here's something that really stood out too. In the next 10 years, the close to 50% of the population of the United States is going to be in the South.
Right.
That means the political power center of this country is going to be in the South. You're going to have half the population. You're going to have a lot of the manufacturing, a lot of the businesses based in the South. And so one of the other things that really stood out that Ken Martin said last night was that they recognize that in 10 years it's going to be a completely different landscape. And so rather than the South being lost, which is what many of the people in California or Illinois or New York think about the South politically, I think that narrative is going to change as the demographics change here in the South, and as more and more people keep pouring into Texas and Georgia and Tennessee, and
Tennessee especially.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that is going to change a lot of things. There's actually, I think it's 12 seats in the House of Representatives that were in the Northeast corridor that will now be in the South, just due to the population
Right.
shift. I love the study of demographics. As I've told
I
you,
know you
we've
do.
talked about
Yes.
people, the numbers of people, as the baby boomer generation of America, unfortunately, passes on to the next, the economy risks shrinking. We won't have the people. We're not having enough children to fill the jobs of the future. This is why immigration is so important to our country. But as the population shrinks, so will the economy, because there won't be
It
as
will.
many people consuming.
And so many people don't understand that.
No, they think that every country is the same and we all have the same amount of people.
No, that's not the same. I mean, they were. I noticed something here just the other day, talking about the exports of a small country. It said,
Yeah.
well, they ought to export as much to us as we do to them. They're not as big a country as we are.
That's right. They don't have as many workers.
They
They don't have the natural resources.
The numbers don't balance.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
right.
being honest with yourself.
That's right.
There's no way. And I mean, it just as far as with the DNC, what they're doing, bringing everything back local. Our former Attorney General Eric Holder under President Obama has said, and he's stressing this. He really is. Get out with your local politicians, city
That's
council, county commission.
That's right.
All of that. Get involved. School board. We've got a situation with our school board right now that is not pleasant. I'll just put it that way.
And you know, Ed, the scary part about that is that everyone that I know in the past that have moved to Murfreesboro or came up in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, that's why they were here.
That's
was the
exactly
school.
right. We've talked about it 100 times.
And you know, not saying any situation is perfect, but we had a pretty good school system going.
Right.
And so, you know, radical extremists get elected because a lot of people aren't paying attention to what's going on
Right.
or what they're saying. And then, you know, that can all be disrupted. It can change quickly. And we don't want that to happen, Ed. And so I think you're going to see a lot more people getting involved. We're seeing a lot of people get activated right now. And you know, it is tough in Tennessee. There's no doubt. It's a tough electorate out there. But you know, this state was ruled by Democrats for 200 years.
Right.
Andrew Jackson
Correct.
invented the Democratic Party in this
He did.
state.
Yes, sir. You're
And
correct.
this is the home of the Democratic Party. And only for about the last 15 years have the Republicans been in charge.
Right.
And now you can see the things happening like the school voucher bill. You know, this whole voucher thing that's kicking in is going to decimate the budgets of all of the county's school systems.
Right.
And so that's all going to kick in about this time next year.
And it has killed Arizona. The state of
yeah. Oh,
Arizona,
yeah.
it has killed.
There's absolutely
Kerry
zero.
Sharp did a report on it a couple of years ago for Channel 5. It has killed it. People buying motorhomes and buying Steinway pianos, and it didn't make come on, man.
Yeah, it's going to what it's going to do is going to make everyone's property tax go up. Mark my word, a year from now, all over
They
this
don't want to hear
state,
that.
counties will be raising their property taxes to make up for the deficit where basically we're sending public taxpayer money to for-profit schools.
Right.
And that's why you have so many people that I'm not saying the public education system is perfect. Everything needs improvement.
Sure.
Of course it does. But we're literally throwing the baby out with the bathwater on a system that has proven time and time again that it does not work. There is zero data to support that it works. And we're going to do it anyway. And so, you know, that's just a fact that we're facing. And, you know, sooner or later, Ed, we have an old country saying the dog catches the car.
Uh-huh. And what does he do with it when he gets it?
That's right. And I'm predicting the dog's going to catch the car about this time next year when all of these counties look at their school budgets and look at their shortfall. And the only option they'll have to keep the doors open will be to raise the property taxes.
And ironically, that is when Bill Lee, which this is one of his baby ideas, I believe. This has been, you know, throwing the baby in the bathwater. This has been his whole dream. And about that time, he'll be leaving office and going somewhere else
How convenient.
to do. How convenient. Mm-hmm. Man, look at what I've done. Yeah,
Right.
We're feeling the repercussions of it, and you're exactly right.
Yeah, and so that's just a piece of the cake that's out there, you know, that's happening locally here. Everyone's going to feel it, but you know, also, you know, at some point we've got to get into the Medicaid situation and all of that.
I'm afraid you're right, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. Stephen Reynolds is our guest. And all of you know he's always a great guest. Please call us, tell us what you think. And Connor's going to take us to our first series of breaks right now. Like I said, Stephen Reynolds is my guest. We're going to be waiting for your calls in a minute. Give us a call, 615-893-1450. That's 893-1450. You all know the numbers. It's call numbers of the AM radio station here that we have. Give us a call. Connor will put you on there, or you can give him a message. He'll get it to us. Ed Raymer with you for the Ed Raymer Show. Back with you right after this. Stay with us, please. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. You know, if you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219. Or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or AA.org.
And we are back, and we have a caller on the line. Caller, please go ahead. You're on the air.
Mr. Reynolds, Mr. Raymer, how y'all doing?
Well, hello. Is this Mr. Neal?
Yeah, this is how y'all doing.
Well, we're being awful formal tonight, but Mr. Neal, please go ahead.
Steve, are you heading down to Hotland after the show? You going to catch that clown show this week down there?
Yeah.
Show at the circus, they call football.
Oh, are you talking about the Syracuse game, Jay?
Circus, that 4 days circus, that clown show they call. I've been told you're going to be talking to me. You down there talking to him. You're going to give Heupel a play for the Syracuse game. What he called.
You know, Jeff, all I'd do would be get in that man's way. He knows exactly what he's doing. I have all the faith in the world.
He didn't know much since Ohio State, I can tell you that. He didn't know much that night.
Well, you know, Jeff, they spent $25 million last year, and Tennessee spent 12.
They just spent 25 cents to beat Tennessee. Don't take none. Could have been a quarter. They could have just went and called with the phone booth, called a quarter, called someone who cares. We ain't worried about money, Stephen. That's no excuse.
Now, Jeff, it's great that you called because there's something I want to talk to you about.
Oh, boy.
Have you heard about this idea of collective bargaining for the college football players?
Well, I can tell you this. There's a bill right now in the state of Michigan that's going through the legislature that if it passes, the governor, the governor of Michigan is right, Rachel Whitmer.
Okay.
If it passes, they want to have athletes, student athletes, college athletes from the state of Michigan come employed.
Yep. So Jeff, it's funny here in Tennessee. I've heard Danny White and Donde Plowman talk about this. I respect them very much, but I've noticed how they're very careful when they talk about collective bargaining. So what collective bargaining means, Jeff, is that the players are going to form a union.
Yeah, be a union just like you know.
And this is a right to work state. And it's really wild to me to watch conservatives that have fought unions their entire life suddenly say, well, the only way we can fix this is for the players to collectively bargain, which means form a union.
You know what the famous jingle is about that, don't you?
What's that?
America works best when we say.
Yeah. Well,
Is that true, Emily?
well,
Well,
I mean,
go ahead.
Jeff,
Go ahead.
here's the thing, right? And this is why I don't believe it's going to work. Because when they do allow the players to form a union, that means everyone, from the women's rowing team to the football team. You can't exclude any college athlete from that union. That'll be thrown out in court if they try. The union will be able to negotiate for health insurance. Maybe the players decide that they don't want to play on Saturdays anymore. They want to play on Tuesdays. They can.
Thing about it though is like I watched this old documentary, and he was talking about football. He said the schools that have football, it's like heroin. You can't heroin. There's so much cost in football. I mean, I like football like anybody else. There's so much cost in it. I mean, it's like you can do what you want about how much money it makes. And how Tennessee makes $1 billion. They got Tennessee Bank on it. They make so much money in football. They just pay everybody else. And see, we know it ain't the case. Not all these schools are making money.
Yeah.
If you think they are, I mean, I've got some land to see. I've got some ice to say in Alaska. That's true.
That's right. That's right.
Some in Alaska.
And Jeff, the other problem with this are state laws. Every state has a different law. Obviously, in Michigan, they're very much favorable towards the unions because of the UAW and things. So their state laws will reflect that. However, Tennessee, Alabama, they're not going to have – there could be violations of state laws is what I want to say.
Well, what I was going to say, too, is there was some – I saw it several weeks ago that they were talking about different stuff and about I guess not NIL, different stuff. They were saying I think it was Tennessee, they or something they couldn't do that they wanted to do or something. And they said they could kick Tennessee and Vanderbilt out of the Southeastern Conference or something. I don't know what the whole deal. I didn't get the whole gist of it.
Well, that I'm sure that they could, and I'm sure that they've got the clout to do that. But I'm telling you, watch them, Jeff. They'll just say collective bargaining. They won't say a players' union.
The thing about it is too. I don't know if you know this, Italy, but some of these schools are getting rid of their collectives. You know that?
They're getting rid of what?
Their collectives, like all these collectives they started out with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
okay.
Middle Tennessee's got one. They call theirs Raiders Rising.
Right.
It's called. Contribute to a sport, you contribute to all the sports, whatever. And they like I'm sure Tennessee, all these bigger schools. Some of them they're not going to have people with the NIL now. They just close them up. I mean that's their prerogative.
That's their prerogative. Jeff, anything else?
Well, I was going to ask you guys, but a lot of things have been going on. What I know you're going to talk about the big beautiful bill or ugly bill, whatever. What do you guys think about Christy Noem says that Alcatraz is on the up and up? It's like federal prison. Y'all think that's true?
Stephen.
Honestly, Jeff, I don't know what to believe anything that comes out of this administration
I'm right
anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
Trump says anyway. I don't believe anything he says. But now I know she's been taking a lot of clash with the Epstein stuff, but that's a whole other.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to ask you guys about that. I'll hang up. I enjoy your show. Y'all have a good week. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Jeff, continued supporter of this broadcast and of this station. I want to say something, Stephen. I'm just like you. I don't know what to think about this current administration. I don't want to get off in left field here, but, I noticed this week I was watching CNBC, and I'm not one that does that. I don't watch investments and all that, But it just intrigued me that major companies now are not paying any attention to Trump over these tariffs. They're just, it's just him blowing off. Look, let's go about our business. That's a bad thing. I mean, we're talking about men that are leading multi-billion-dollar companies saying the president of our country, he says those things, but he's just a little wacky. I've never heard that said. I'm talking about Joe Biden, President Reagan, President Nixon, none of them. Okay, well, they're a little wacky. They get a little antsy every once in a while. No, these men were solid. This guy here, another tariff, never mind. They call him Taco Don now.
Taco Don, that's right. Trump always chickens out. That's what they think. Yeah. Now, it may end up hurting them in the long run. They better pay attention to what this guy has to say, and although he may change it in 30 minutes. But back to the Epstein stuff. I won't say a whole lot on this, Ed, other than there was a video released by the Justice Department this week that apparently had been edited. And I'm going to tell you,
certain amounts of it redacted or omitted,
completely
whatever.
edited, and they tried to cover it up. And so this is a crime. And so you have a crime being committed. This is evidence of a crime. You have a crime being, that would be, anyway, will anyone see justice for committing a crime? If you or I tampered with evidence, Ed, they would lock us up down here in the Rutherford County Jail faster than anything.
Sure.
And you would hope that the Justice Department and what it stands for would not be participating in anything like this. It's really shocking. It's really an affront to blind justice, the rule of law. It really is a giant insult and a giant insult to all the people, and to think that there are so many brilliant computer people out there that could figure out within a few hours that this thing had been tampered with.
They're brilliant, and you're right. The word is brilliant, and they are.
And they figured out that it had been tampered with immediately, and I just don't know how anybody can expect not to go to jail for that. Because,
and this was their own Justice Department.
At the highest level. So, but this Epstein thing is really, once again, the dog is catching the car, Ed, on all of this. So, they're the ones that wanted that pushed so hard for all of the information to be released, and now that the dog has caught the car, it seems like this is kind of splitting MAGA right down the middle.
It sounds like it. They're talking that way now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Caller, we have a caller on the line. Caller, go ahead. Caller, you're on. Go ahead. Hello. Well, we had. Hello, caller. You there?
It's only on this one. It's not coming over this one.
Okay. Caller, please try us back. We're losing you for some reason. Please try us back, because we want to hear what you have to say. Please do. We apologize. That happens from time to time. Please call us back.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you're right. Their own Justice Department has put this out, and now but
that's kind of scary that they're tampering with evidence like that high of a level.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, let's move on to that. Jeff also asked about the big beautiful bill that's not being called that by some people now.
Yeah, no.
And we've talked this into the ground, Ed, about Medicaid. But let's start, if we have time. Let's start.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about the definition of what Medicaid is. Yeah, a lot of folks don't understand the difference between Medicaid and Medicare.
They don't. Right.
Now, if you earn a paycheck, you see that come out of your paycheck every week, a small portion, and Medicare is for when you get ready to retire. When you turn 64 years old, you qualify for Medicare, which is basically a government subsidy that you have paid into your entire career to help you with medical bills as you age and get older. Medicaid, however, is a completely different thing. Medicaid is for the folks that basically are in poverty, and I don't really know how else to say that.
Disabled.
Disabled folks and people that qualify that don't have assets that are above the poverty line, or an income that's above the poverty line. Now, our forefathers a long time ago set this up because they knew if they didn't, we would have a lot of poor folks out there that would be getting sick, that there would be no way of paying for them to be taken care of.
In other words, take care of the indigent.
That's right. And you got to go back to the 80s when Ronald Reagan, a Republican president, passed the law that every emergency room in this country has to admit anyone who shows up at the door.
Right.
And so there has to be a way to pay for that, especially for folks that don't have any money. And that's where the Medicaid comes in, is basically for the folks that don't have any money. And so you're talking about in the state of Tennessee, and this is what's a shame, folks, and we should all be ashamed of this. 50% of the babies born in this state today and every day are born on Medicaid. What that means is that 50% of the babies born in this country are born into poverty. Born in this state, in the state of Tennessee, they are born into poverty.
Right.
The odds of them escaping poverty are maybe 20% over the course of their lifetime.
Maybe.
Now think about that. These are our future workers. These are the people that are going to inherit this state, inherit this country, and half of them are being brought into this world at the poverty level.
Right.
That is shameful. And now we're going to cut those dollars. we're going to cut them off. They're going to cut the SNAP benefits. They're going to cut the summer feeding programs for
I
children.
know. Yeah, and you and I and Angela were just talking about that, and it just gets under my skin fast.
Well, I
Go
mean,
ahead.
Ed, you know, poor people can't hire lobbyists.
And they can't hire lawyers either.
And they can't hire
Not
lawyers.
good lawyers, anyway.
That's right.
You know.
There's a reason why our forefathers in this country set this program up. A really good reason. You know, when people can't get the medical care that they need, it just leads to a whole issue of problems. Let's talk about that. Ultimately, you and I are the folks that are lucky enough to have private insurance or enough cash to cover their own medical care. We're actually going to end up paying more for our medical care. The Medicaid hospitals are set up on a formula, just like every other business. You have various segments of customers in any other business that where your money comes from. For the hospital business, it's the Medicaid, it's the Medicare, and it's private insurance. And they use those three funding mechanisms together to hopefully be able to break even or turn a profit.
Right.
And so when you take one of those away, what's end up going to happening, besides the closure of even more rural hospitals, which we've discussed that, this is going to be extremely devastating and a betrayal of the rural people by this conservative movement, by this MAGA movement. They have betrayed the people in rural Tennessee and rural America because they're going to get even less health care. They're going to have to travel even further to get health care. This is just a fact. And if this bill stays in place and gets through reconciliation with the House, that's exactly what you're going to see happen. And as a result of the hospital losing those funds for Medicaid, now remember, anybody that shows up at the emergency room has to be treated by law.
Exactly.
So the hospital's still going to be spending that money.
That's right.
Treating those folks with no reimbursements.
And they have to recoup it somewhere.
And they're going to get it from us. They're going to get it from folks with private insurance.
Those of us that are on Medicare, they're going to. It's going to come in the form. It's going to come in the form of your tax dollars or your insurance company's payments.
They will be
in lieu of
paid
your medical claims.
That's exactly
if
right.
If you're in your 40s or 50s, that's what it will come in lieu of.
Essentially, yes. And you know, if a conservative had an argument with me and they said, "Hey, we've got to balance this budget and lower this deficit, or else our entire economy is going to collapse," and part of that requires a reduction in healthcare spending, that's a legitimate argument. Okay, that's a legitimate argument that we can have, but to increase the deficit by $4 trillion and to cut these programs is not a legitimate argument,
right?
Because all they're doing is giving Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and all of the folks
Zuckerberg,
that make
bunch.
$1 zillion. They're giving them an extra $1 million tax cut off their taxes.
Exactly.
Increasing the deficit, taking services away. Less than 0.5% of this country will benefit from this. This is a bottom line, and it's a betrayal of rural America, and it's a betrayal of even conservative values for the conservatives out there, the real ones, and y'all know who I'm talking to, who actually believe in deficit reduction and balancing the budgets. They actually believe that kind of stuff.
Right.
We can have a legitimate argument over all of that, but we cannot when they do this type of stuff and they increase the deficit. It's just intellectually dishonest what they're doing.
You know, and here's the thing. And my wife, okay, I'm using her as an example. She's home listening. Well, hopefully she's home getting some rest right now. But at any rate, your mother. I've never met your mother in my life. Never have. I'm going to bet something. I can tell by her son's actions. I'm going to bet if you were a Jeff Bezos, if you were even 100 million millionaire, okay, whatever.
Right.
And you said, Mom, here's your $3 million house. She probably wouldn't take it. She probably won't be staying where she is.
Right.
You know, but I'm going to tell you, and I don't know what her health is now, but I would guarantee you if she were able, and you left her with Mom, here's $1 million cash. Here's $1 million every month. You do with it what you want. Tax free.
Yep.
I guarantee you she'd be out giving it away so fast you'd make your head swim.
She would. And I would too, Ed. I
She'd
mean,
give it to church. I'm not saying we should run around patting you and your mom on the back.
No.
I'm telling you, it's just type people you
It's
are.
the type of
My
people.
wife's that way.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to stop her. She'd be out tomorrow morning handing out $100 bills.
Sure.
Fistful at a time.
To people who needed
To
it.
people who needed it.
That's right.
Not someone that wanted a brand new Cadillac.
That's right. And so you got to
And we
wonder.
know a lot of people like that.
You have to wonder, Ed, as there's a certain standard of living that money can buy you.
Sure, that's it.
No matter how many more billions on top of that, you really kind of reach that ceiling at a certain level. So you have to wonder, why so much more? Why do they need so much more? And I'll tell you, Ed, it's about control, Ed.
About power.
It's about power
I've
and
come
control.
to believe it's just about power.
That's
it's a power game, and they can have that. And if it makes you, if being a billionaire makes you act like Elon Musk, whatever his name is, I don't want to have any part of it.
Yeah,
because he's become. I mean, to walk into the Oval Office of the presidency of the United States in a T-shirt and a ball cap.
Yeah,
come on, man.
Right,
and no necktie. Give me a break, folks.
Right. Oh, Ed, you just need to loosen up a little bit, Ed.
Well, I guess I do. Yeah, I need to. Yeah, I guess so. Sharpen my pen just a little more. But I'll tell you what, I never behave like that, and you know that.
That's right. Well, there's a certain we've talked about the lack of decorum, where we have fallen off of decorum and protocol, and just civil treatment of each other.
I know
we have lost that, especially in politics. We can't. We're in the same boat. And folks have to agree. I can tell you this: the people that disagree with me on 100% of the things are still not my enemy. They're my fellow Americans.
Right.
They just happen to disagree with me on things. And the Republicans done a great job of branding those very simple messages out. The world is very complex, and the answers to solving our problems and making this a better place to live for everyone is a very complex situation where we have to achieve consensus between the two groups of people.
I am glad you mentioned that, because I want to tell you, you talk about foreign policy.
Yeah.
Now, I know very little about foreign policy. I know enough to stay out of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I do know this. And a man said this, I think it was last week. I was listening. He was talking about Trump.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't mean to Mr. President, I don't mean to pound on you, but, buddy, this is what some of the reporters are saying. This is not me talking now. Okay?
Right.
But I'm telling you, and he talked about something, some walking out, just leaving early at
that was the G7.
The G Summit and all that.
Yeah. Right.
We are dealing with a balance here of issues that has been hammered out and built over decades
lawfully
on trust of each other.
Yes.
There is no big deal here.
Right. So,
this is what the reporter. Let me say this. This is what the reporter was. If I may, if you don't mind.
Yes.
I kind of let Stephen just do what he wants up here, but seriously, I'm serious. He was saying, "Look, forget the big deals." Okay.
Yeah, right.
That's what he was talking about.
It's just trust.
It's trust in these issues. And President Obama said once in one of his situations in the Middle East, the best sometimes you can do, he was speaking impromptu to a group of kids, is sometimes to just keep a lid on it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what government is really all about.
That's it. Okay?
I mean,
but this man played it. I said, I've never thought about it. It's built on trust.
That's right. Especially with our allies. Ed,
that's what he was talking about. Right, yeah.
I know you're a Kentucky guy originally.
Right, sure.
And Kentucky was smart enough to elect Andy Beshears, who's just a fantastic governor.
And they're working him to death.
And he was talking this morning about how Japan is the largest investor in the state of Kentucky. The Toyota plant is there. They make Toyota all types of cars there.
And they were here in 1980.
And that's right. They've been here for a long time. Well, basically.
Here in Tennessee, I meant when they did Smyrna.
That's right.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's right. No. So what's happening with the lack of trust now, Ed, is that the Japanese are looking to China now for their investments and to partner with one of their age-old enemies and pulling dollars out of the state of Kentucky because they're not certain whether or not they can trust us.
I was watching a video
your
on the
point.
very same thing last
Yeah.
night. Over, not on that, but on the influence that China is now having.
That's right. With the Australians.
Because don't forget their population as well too.
Yeah.
The Chinese population.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
it's unbelievable. I mean, they've got the people. I mean,
Well, they
you
do,
know.
Ed, but my guy Peter Zihan, he will tell you that that they've been lying about their demographics, and that that the entire country of China will collapse in 30 years, by
Yeah.
the year 2030.
Think
It
so.
says they're out of people too.
Really?
One-child policy that they had for so many years.
I thought that they had more people. They were the second largest country.
Well, they are when you
Yeah.
add all the people up.
Right,
But,
okay,
but they're
okay.
all 50 and 60 years old.
I got you. I
They're
got
not
you. Okay.
18 or
Okay,
25.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay.
So
Yeah.
it depends on which age group you follow into. See, as you get
Mm-hmm.
older, like you and I, we consume less. We don't buy as much stuff, Ed.
Yeah,
The
you know
older
what?
you get.
We don't have as much stuff. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
are you looking for anything? Because if you are, you can stop by our house on the way home. My wife and I have stuff that we're trying to get rid of.
Right,
we really
right.
are. It's not that we're getting ready. We hope to kick the bucket, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, you just
we
don't-
don't need any more stuff.
The older you get, the less you consume. And when you're young, you're buying homes, you're buying cars, you're, advancing in your career, you're buying boats and motorcycles or whatever your
Right,
thing
yeah.
might be.
Stuff.
And the older you get, the less stuff you buy. And so the older your demographic is, the more your economy shrinks, because old folks don't buy a lot of stuff.
Well, I mean, my phone's going on the blink. Some of you, by the way, if you're listening and you've been trying to call me, I can get a text. I can't talk on this thing.
Yeah,
No
interesting.
offense against it's been a great phone. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong; it's fantastic.
Yep.
And I will go to the same carrier tomorrow, and we'll upgrade. And I never did figure out how my free upgrade costs $700 or $800, but our kids always got the benefit of that. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had a taste of that. By the way, callers, if you're still trying to call in, please give us a call. We're sorry we've had a little problem with the lines up here tonight. Give us a call, please. If you do, I don't know that you had a problem on that last call, but if you did.
I reset the phone, so it should.
I'm sorry. So Connor's reset the phones. I'm sorry. It's our fault. It's not yours. It's us. Thank you, and please keep listening. But what I'm saying, with well, I forgot. I was off.
Well, Ed,
Damn
he's
it.
come back with the tariffs, right? And
The
he's saying now
tariffs,
August
yeah.
the 1st,
I
and he's
know,
put out a
yeah,
letter
yeah.
and all of that. And it's, economies like stability. We've said that many, many times. We know right now we're having a huge housing crisis. None of the young folks can buy a home, can buy a starter home. Look, you can blame that on Joe Biden. You can blame that on whoever you want to blame that on, okay?
President
The Federal
Obama, President
Reserve.
Bush, whatever. That's right. Yeah.
The fact remains that young folks can't afford to get into starter homes now.
Not at $450,000 if that's a starter home.
And so what are we going to do to fix that? Regardless of the blame, it is a situation. Now you're starting to see the housing market collapse in places like Florida, where prices are coming down, places like Texas where prices are coming down. You're starting to see the large home builders like D.R. Horton. They're missing their stock. They're missing their sales goals. They're slowing down on building
Right,
their homes.
exactly.
This is a slowing of the economy that's starting to kick in. The American economy is extremely resilient, and it takes a long time to get it up to speed.
Right,
And it
yes.
also takes some time for it to slow down. And
Right.
Unfortunately, I think that's what we're seeing. We're starting to see more layoffs, but folks can't afford homes,
In other words, what you're saying, you think we're at the top of the slide, maybe, but it could be prevented. This is still preventable.
Well, you
To
do
an
what you
extent.
can, right? I
You
mean,
do what you can,
economies are
right.
cyclical, right? You're always going to have ups and downs, but you try to prepare yourself for the downs. A lot of times in the down times, we talk about training folks, getting people properly retrained for the jobs of the future, getting people the proper education. They have programs, and of course you have the Federal Reserve and what they do with interest rates, and you have all of these different things to try to make for a soft landing.
Right.
And so the question is right now, are we still full steam ahead? According to some, we're headed to a golden era.
Yeah.
But the signs aren't there.
No,
the indicators
I don't
aren't there.
see- I don't
I don't
see
see
that
25-year-olds going out and buying new homes right now.
We're going to go to our last break. Stephen Rinsler, I know what I was going to tell you, talking about having stuff, about all these houses and everything.
Yeah.
My brothers and I, we have a house that's in Kentucky, as you well know. I've told you many times, on our family farm.
Yeah.
If any of you in Kentucky are listening, if you ever get over to out Highway 630 there in Manitou, will you take a picture of that house and send it to me? The kids tell us it's great.
Yeah.
I don't know. All me and my brothers do is pay the taxes and pay the insurance, but the kids love it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, Connor, go on up. They'll take you right in. And, I mean, I don't know how these people afford. I mean,
Right.
my wife and I can't get out. I mean, we can barely go out for dinner.
It's a major problem facing our young people, especially is the housing issue. It's
I
only
know.
going to continue to, as materials continue to go up. I mean, if they stop building completely, obviously there will be adjustment in the cost of everything.
Sure, obviously.
But we haven't reached that point yet, and it's hard to say what's going to happen. But with AI coming on, I know you did a show on that with Andy and Jill.
Yes,
they talked about that, and so
Amazing subject.
facing a lot of headwinds right now.
We
Is
are.
what I'm trying to say, Ed.
We are.
And so we really need to pull together everyone and do what's logical. It's very difficult speaking to people who don't follow logic. You might as well forget it, right?
Logical instead of political for a change, and I think that would be great. And taking the Democrat DC out of the out of the DNC. I agree.
Well,
Stephen, thank you, Stephen. Steve, we're going to be right back. Stephen Rinsler, I guess, we're going to go to our last break. Back with you right after this. Stay with us, folks. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
Go to J. Mullins Jewelers and check out their collection of reactor watches. They're located at 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. And also custom-made jewelry. If you want it, they can make it for you. Also gifts for any and all occasions. Weddings, graduations, family reunions, anniversaries, all of it. That's J. Mullins Jewelers, 352 West Northfield Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Hello, everyone. It's Ed with Private Investigations in Middle Tennessee. If you just need someone checked out on a background check, tag them a run, or if you need someone full-fledged to follow, give us a call. You can reach me at 615-390-7219. That's 615-390-7219, or check out our website at piofmt.com. That's piofmt.com.
I felt so alone, scared, angry, full of self-pity. I just wanted to die, so I took another drink. Then I heard about AA and went to my first meeting. The people there talked about those same feelings. I was no longer alone. They gave me help to stop drinking and hope to start living. Alcoholics Anonymous, it works. Look us up. Check your phone book, newspaper, or aa.org.
We're back. Stephen Reynolds, our guest. Ed Raymer here with you. What about infrastructure, Stephen? Let's get right in. We've got less than 10 minutes left.
I wanted to touch on that. The terrible floods down in Texas. There's still many people missing. It's a very sad situation. We won't even go into the fact that we don't seem to have summer showers anymore. We have floods.
Exactly.
When it rains, it floods. And you're going to see this more and more across the country because we haven't fortified the infrastructure. But let me talk about Texas. The American Rescue Plan that folks want to talk about, that was actually a bipartisan bill that
True.
Democrats and Republicans both agreed upon, the American Rescue Plan, right after the pandemic, provided $10 million to Texas, that community down in Texas, Kerrville, Texas.
Okay, right.
And that $10 million was to put in a modern, state-of-the-art alert system for flooding on the Guadalupe River. And so there were videos made of the locals who had obviously been brainwashed by propaganda at the time that said, hey, we don't need these alarm systems. This is just Joe Biden and the Marxist communist trying to take over our community.
Yeah,
and
socialist.
And they turned down this $10 million to put in an alarm system in their community that might have saved these children and all of these folks' lives.
At least 120 last number I heard. Maybe more than that now.
And so propaganda kills, Ed. It
I know.
kills.
Yeah.
And let me give you another one. Another child died of measles. This was very controversial on some of the social media. And someone said, well, RFK Jr.'s killed another child.
Yeah.
With his propaganda, because they've convinced people that they shouldn't get the measles shot, and now we have people dying of measles, and we have an outbreak of a controllable, communicable disease that's out there. And so propaganda is killing Americans now, Ed.
Yeah, the lie. Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to ask you something, and we've got 6 minutes left, maybe not that, and I'm going to throw you a curve.
Okay.
What do you want to do politically?
Well, Ed, I want to help.
Now, folks, that is a curveball. Please, go ahead.
I want to help any way that I can. I feel like this country, this community, this state, I'm a publicly educated guy. I'm a native Tennessean, which is hard to find now, and I want to help wherever I can. And that could mean, if Bill Lee called me up tomorrow and said, Steve, I want you to run the DOT, you know what, I'd take that job.
Sure.
Right. But I just feel like that we reach the age where we have to give back to the community that's given so much. I've been very fortunate in my life. I've been very lucky. I've worked hard. And so I feel like that before I leave this place, I'm going to do everything I can to help the folks that need help.
It was always said, if you can't leave it better than you found it, you might as well leave
right.
it alone.
Now,
That's what we always try to do. For example, my wife and I did with property that we'd buy.
Yeah.
If we can't make it any better, we need to get rid of it. And we finally got rid of a couple of pieces, and then the rest of it, it was bought out from us, and it was a buyout deal. But I mean, people need people like you, either party. I don't know. I mean, they need someone that talks. Look, we got to cut through all the mud and the muck. Forget the red tape. We're talking about just mud and muck. To get down to brass tacks.
That's right. And we have to have people that are willing to work with each other, right?
Exactly.
And as long as we're dealing with logic and facts, Ed, we can't deal with someone that's not logical and not factual.
Thank you, Stephen. We've got a caller on the line. Caller, please go ahead. Caller, go ahead. Hello, caller. Are you there? We've got you. Okay, sorry. We're having some trouble with the phones up here, I guess. Okay, but thank you anyway. But yeah, cut through the mud and the muck and forget the red tape. Stop being politician for a while.
That's right, Ed. And everyone talks about is obtaining power and what you do with that power. Whenever you have the majority, let me say this. And I've said this the last time I was on the show.
Sure.
I firmly believe that the Democrats are going to wipe the Republicans in 26. But by the way, we have a special congressional race that's going on in the 7th District that's going to be happening. Mm-hmm. That's to replace Mark Green. And we're going to have a primary. We're going to have a Democratic primary with about 5 or 6 candidates. That's going to be really interesting to watch. The 7th District in Tennessee is basically
I was going to ask you where that is.
It's
Clarksville?
Clarksville and
Clarksville?
the counties west and south of Clarksville, so I can't name them all. But
Well, you're looking at not Cheatham, but Robertson.
That's right.
You're in there. Of course, Montgomery County is Clarksville.
That's
and,
right.
Anyway.
Approximately about 700,000 people in the Clarksville area
Yeah, a
and
bunch
the
of people.
counties that make up the 7th District. Could be an interesting race, Ed. Got some
Good.
really good candidates that are jumping in.
Good.
So anyway, and it's a special election. And remember what I told you about the money now coming out of the DNC. So don't be shocked if you don't see a lot of money pouring nationally from a national level into this local race here into District 7 in
That's right.
Tennessee.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So Democrats, and I mean, I'm talking to you. Here's the man here that's got a show here. Well, he could come back and do it today if he wanted to. And his show was titled, to talk about him politically, it was titled The Man in the Middle. I loved it.
Well,
because you're pretty appealing to both sides.
Yeah, Ed, I consider myself center left. If you look at my voting record, I've only voted Democrat. Listen, we've talked about this before. The extremists of both parties are ruining the day.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Most folks fall in the middle. They just want to do what makes sense. Whether it's a conservative idea or a liberal idea, most folks want to do what makes sense and fall somewhere in the middle. And those are the people that decide elections, Ed. It's not.
That's the thing that you and I have talked about a million times. If we sat down, a bunch of us, over coffee tomorrow morning, within 20 minutes, we'll all be talking about the same thing.
That's right.
This thing about this, about that tape, like he's talking about, being finagled with, somebody ought to be held accountable for
Of
that.
course, in there.
Just things like that.
Right.
That people, logically, when you settle them down and they get out of the way left field and way out here in right field,
That's right.
and say, look, settle down, have a cup of coffee, get your senses about you.
That's right. Well,
and
intellectually
I'm
honest.
serious about feeding our kids for school lunch.
Yeah. I
Who can
think
say no to children?
I think there's a lot of conservatives that would agree with us that that's the right thing that we need to do. We can argue over how much or what type of program it is.
I'm not saying
but
we got to
everyone-
feed everybody a ribeye steak every day at
That's
noon,
right.
but
That's right.
I mean,
but maybe a peanut butter sandwich wouldn't hurt.
wouldn't hurt a thing.
That's right. Also helps the farmers too. I don't know if I think I've told you this, but all of that comes through the Department of Agriculture.
That's right.
All of those programs, the food that is fed to our children, are grown by American farmers who have also been betrayed recently by this administration.
For a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest has been Stephen Reynolds. And we're going to keep him around here a little bit while longer. And I'm not here at the station tonight, but we'll have him back, I guarantee you, because I have a feeling something's going on that he's not telling me about. So I'm going to thank you, Stephen.
Thank you, Ed.
Always
Real
a pleasure.
Real
Connor,
pleasure.
thank you. Connor on the board, as always. Thank you, WGNS, for putting up with a guy like me. And, hon, I love you. I'm on my way home. And, ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you what, till next Sunday night at 8 p.m., I'll catch you down the road. Good night.